All right, yay, it works, awesome. I was just somewhere and the reception was terrible. So, good afternoon. It is afternoon. This is I am Dr. Sharnael Wolverton Sehon with Swiftfire, and I have a part 2 from our video from yesterday. If you guys didn't get a chance to check out the video yesterday, you can scroll down or go back on my YouTube and find it. Yesterday we talked about Jeremiah. And in Jeremiah 17, the scripture says that our heart is the most trackable and or trackable. Oh, that who would know it. Oh, that someone would know it and or love and share love. And we talk about, how that's a different interpretation. That's what's actually written, but we can go back and look at it. If that is the correct interpretation, then let's look at that trackable heart. Let's look today a little bit more about how we can track God's heart and how we can connect and have full access to all the names of God, whether it's provision, miracles, resurrection, life, harmony, health, all the things that God is awesome. And even if, like I said yesterday, even if the translation that's there that talks about the heart is the most deceitful, then we know in 1 John that it says that God is bigger than our heart and our feelings, because God is love, and that love of frequency, that frequency of love and that vibe of love will trump everything. And we're going to talk a little bit about more in detail about that today. So what you feel and what you're feeling trumps everything. We used to think that it was the brain that was in charge and running all the show in the biofield and in the cells. Now, the more that we're looking at it, we're seeing that it's actually the heart that's in charge. The heart starts first. It's the most electric part of the body, and what it does is it can actually feel and or connect to something outside of us that's giving us the ability to know and understand and feel things first, which sends a signal to the brain, and then the brain starts to let go different chemicals and different things throughout the entire body and into our biofield, where we will find a match. They did some studies that I was just reading about, where they actually put tons of different people on bioscans, and they're covered in wires with their head. Hey, Teresa. And put them in a room and gave them a little clicky mouse, one for fear and one for love. And they would show these guys different slides that they could see with their eyes in front of them. And they would give like a 6 to 10 second kind of black screen, nothing slide in between these other slides. And some of the slides would look like little babies and cute little goats and cute little baby rabbits and kittens, and maybe someone in a situation where they're helping another person. And like I said, in between they would show nothing and they would wait. And then some of the slides that they would show were fear-based. And so maybe war, or someone hurting another person, or a snake that's like in the strike position about to get you. And what they did, hey Tatiana, what they did is they asked the participants in this study to, before the slide came on, to predict and or see how they felt right before each slide. And if it was fear, they pushed the fear button. And if it was love, they pushed the love button. And there were only 2 options, fear and love. And not only did they have incredible access to knowing which was coming first, fear or love, and very accurate, might I say, ability, but they would predict sometimes all the way up to 6 seconds before the actual slide came, and they would know, they would feel it before it even came. Not know it, but feel it before it even came, and with accuracy. And so what does that say about us? Because before these slides came, how did the heart know? How did the heart predict and or feel? It shows the power of actual slides and images. It's the heart that sees. It's the heart that feels. It's not necessarily the eyes that are seeing. It's the heart that sees and the heart that feels. I think that shows the power of media. it definitely shows the power of images. But if your limbic system, as we've studied before in previous videos, and if you haven't watched me before, go to my YouTube, go to my Divine Science group. There's tons of videos on some of these things I'm talking about in more detail. But the limbic system can't tell the difference between something that's in an image and something that's for real, happening with real people. And so there's no difference as far as the brain goes and as far as the brain responds and or reacts to these things. So that makes it very, very important about not only who we're hanging out with, obviously, and what we're doing in our lives, but what we're spending our time sitting in front of. What you stand before, you become. So if you're watching terrible videos or the media or news and anything negative, your heart is tracking that. We remember our heart is the most easily trackable and the most easy trackable. We can track these things even before they come before us. And so we gotta really, really pay attention and be disciplined to helping our body out, because again, whatever we're thinking about and feeling, that goes into our biofield, and then we get a match. Another quick thing that's really, really important that may connect the dots for you is just recently we were studying about the chemicals that they use for like Terminix, no judgment, or mosquitoes and different things. Hey, Victoria. And what we found is the chemicals that were used to get rid of mosquitoes, it wasn't because the smell that they didn't like that was repelling them. It was actually something in the chemicals would scramble their own vibration around them, their shield, and they weren't and scramble the shield around us, and they were not able to detect us. We were not trackable. We were not trackable. And so they couldn't find us because something scrambled their field to be able to find us. Now, and this is what fear does, you guys. I've been talking a lot about the biofield and how we get a match to what we're feeling. So if we feel judgment, or we feel fear, or we feel criticism, or hatred or bitterness towards someone, hey, Lenine, that's going to go in our hearts, that's through our hearts, to our brain, sending signals to chemicals that release in our body, and then it goes out into the biofield and we get a match. And look, Robert Tennyson, if you would study anything with him, he would tell you that love is the only motion. Love is the only motion. Anything opposite of love, which is fear, hatred, confusion, criticism, judgment, all of those things are emotions, and all of those things not only scramble the mind-body connection, the heart-brain connection, but it scrambles the biofield to not be able to receive love or to receive revelation or any of the names of God. And so God is within, and it's sending a message and clear message out. So if we are criticism and we are hatred and we are bitterness, that goes out into the field and scrambles love from being able to find us. And that's not something that we want to do. Something that they noticed too in these slide experiments is when fear was involved, it was a slower process. Because again, not only does it scramble the outside biofield, but it scrambles the heart-brain connection. And so what does this mean to all of us? What it means is, are we still trackable if we're in bitterness? Are we still trackable if we're in unforgiveness and hatred? Yes, we can be trackable, because God's love in other people can still track you. Regardless of what your shield is, regardless of what your biofield, the more awake person, the person who's walking more in God love will be able to find you, will be able to recognize the judgment and the criticism because they have access to revelation, but they will be able to pierce through and speak truth and to connect you and to track you. But those people who are asleep, they're going to be just bumping into your shield. You're going to bump into their shield. There's going to be that chaos in the field that will only connect criticism to criticism, judgment to judgment, hate to hate. And you notice that they say birds of a feather flock together. It's interesting. Lots of creative people hang out together. Lots of happy people hang out together. People who have different interests will hang out together. And I'm telling you, Those who love, when you love with God's love, you are trackable on another level, and you have access to all the names of God, which is, we talked about that yesterday. It could be provision. It could be miracles, resurrection, thriving, harmony, revelation, dreams and visions, all the things that God is. We will have access not only because of the heart and the mind and the brain connection, but because the biofield goes out, it sends light and love, and then light finds you. Love finds you. You have favor. You have provision. You have miracles. You have all the things in the biofield that are there because there's access. Nothing's scrambled. You are in Psalms 91. And a matter of fact, if hatred and love and all of that had a GPS and had your physical address, it would not be able to find you. You are hidden in a secret place in Psalms 91 because you have love that's all around you in your biofield, and hate cannot match that. Hate cannot come in. The only way it could get in is if you had any crack in your biofield, anything in you that's hate, then hate shows up and it finds that crack. And so let's really remember love today. Let's remember and be disciplined in not only what we're thinking, but what we're feeling, because feeling is trump. Let's get full on access to everything and all the names of God and all of who God is. You could do decrees. You can do practices of prayer and or meditation. You could think about happy things. Think about happy situations. You can outcome map. You can do imagination activation. Spend time being around happy people and putting your whatever's before you. Make sure that's positive, loving things, whether it's music or media or whatever those things are. Think on those things and support on those things, because love is trump. Love is an amazing biofield that can go through our bodies. It can quicken us to health and thriving vibrations that heal and balance your body, but they also attract and bring in something like a match, something like-minded, something like felt. Notice too that we've done studies with Donald Miller and other people who talked about what love is and to actually give a definition of what love is. And here's the thing. When they asked numerous couples, what is it that you love about your spouse? Most of them could not come up with like a real answer. And what it came down to is the people loved their spouse because the way they felt around their spouse. Interesting. Not because the person was so smart and had like a really high IQ, but it was how they felt around that person. And what they've done studies on over and over and over again now is it's how you feel around someone that gives you the ability to, quote, like someone or not. Notice everyone in your field or who you hang around with. Notice the people that you, quote, don't like. It's not because you don't like them. It's because you feel like they don't like you. Think about it. Think about the people that you, quote, don't like. It's not because they're not likable, but something in them made you feel like you weren't liked, therefore you didn't like them. And you only get people who, quote, don't like you if there's something in you that doesn't like you. So whatever you see is a mirror. And when you see those things come up and show up, that's just an indication for you to figure out, okay, what is it in me that doesn't like me? What is it in me that has hatred or judgment or criticism? Or what is it in me that's lying, that I'm getting lying? What is it in me that's disloyal, where disloyalty keeps showing up? And these things could be very, very subconscious and unconscious even. And so we've got to be conscious. We've got to remember our consciousness, remember our awakened space. We've got to get into the place where we're not only awakened and or trackable, but trackable, and being able to get access to all of who God is, so we can be the hands and feet, and we can be the light of the world. We're supposed to be the light and the love of the world, and we want people to feel our love. I choose for people to feel my love when I connect with people, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, or in real actual life. People care when they feel cared for. People respond when they're feeling loved by you, not because you're so smart and not because of all the things that you do, but it's the way they feel around you. So let's start with us, inside of us. Let's really love us. Let's focus on being awakened and remembering love, so our heart and brain connection has full access with absolutely no chaos or no disconnect from fear or logic or thinking or judgment or any of those things. Let's do all the forward motions of love. And let's, depression and those kind of things. Think about the word depression. Depression is to press down. It's the opposite of expression. It's the opposite of creativity. So if you're feeling any of those things, find out what is it that's causing those things and start expressing, start speaking, start feeling, start thinking. Do the opposite of whatever it is that's going on. Let's be vocal. Let's be feeling. Let's connect again with God, who is the opposite of depression. He's full, abundant, overflowing love. And that's what we can be today. So let's go do that, guys. If you haven't been friends with me before, hit the follow button right now for great videos. I do these all the time. I'm enjoying Thanksgiving week. And I hope that you guys are too, making great plans for Thanksgiving and living in a heartfelt, grateful attitude of love and gratefulness, and making all your lists of gratitude and joy. I love all of you guys. Hit the follow button, go to my Divine Science group, hit me up and subscribe to my YouTube, and go make a difference today in everything that you're doing. Go be love. Go be the kingdom. The kingdom of God is within, but we can make it come out into the biofield, and we can be love today. Go be love. All right? I love you. I send you light. And I mean that from everything in me, all throughout my biofield, straight to you right now. In this image, feel my love, feel my light, feel my happiness and joy towards you right now, and go connect with God right now. All right, love you. Bye.